Let's see what the coach can do.
Welcome back to the Locker Room. My name is Tommy's Locker, aka Coach Cattle, and today we're going to be talking about introducing a fourth game mode. So, what I mean by this is historically in Call of Duty's past, we have had 2 game modes or 3 game modes. It's alternated between, mostly with 3 game modes, and I believe there was one point in Black Ops 4 where we did have a fourth mode, or maybe that mode was replaced by something. I think Uplink was replaced by Control. The point is, 4 game modes. Why is it important to have 4 considering we only have 3 right now? Some people think that's too much, but if you look at Halo, Halo has consistently had 4 game modes throughout the entire, 20 years that game has been played competitive, 20 plus years. So, I mean, some years more than others, but let's look at what 4 game modes really means. For Halo, you have game modes such as King of the Hill, you have Oddball, you have Capture the Flag, you have Team Slayer, and I believe there's a new one now called Extraction, I believe. It's like a domination hybrid where you have to have control of 2 points out of the 3 to get any points at all. What that means for teams is that when they're going to play matches, they have to be able to play all 4 game modes and they have to be good at all 4 game modes. It requires a variety of different play styles. You have to adjust your play going into these different matches. The overall skill gap is higher. In Halo, don't get me wrong, I love Call of Duty. I love it. I played it way more than I have Halo. I've still played Halo quite a bit, but Halo overall has had a higher skill gap. It will always have a higher skill gap due to other reasons, mainly because team play being more important and there being more health, but because you have more game modes too. That's important. You have to know how to play multiple game modes. And it would be a good thing to be able to play these game modes because teams aren't just reliant on being good at 2 game modes. So for example, what we have right now for the rotation in a best of 3, you have Hardpoint, S&D, Control. And then for best of 5, you have Hardpoint, S&D, Control, Hardpoint, S&D. What that means is, 1, Control is completely useless. It should never even be practiced if you're only doing best of 3s. Why not just practice the first 2 game modes? In a best of 5, if you're practicing it, why ever practice Control when 4 out of the 5 game modes are going to be Hardpoint or S&D? Because they are going to be these 2 modes, this is something that actually makes teams not have to put any value into Control. The problem is right now is that Control doesn't have any weight within the games. You can literally not play Control at all, not practice it, and only play it in ranked when it comes out with your team, or just play it, off on the off occasion and lose it, or maybe get out a win here and there. And it's not as important. Control does not matter because it doesn't have any weight to it because it is not nearly as good of a game mode as S&D, and it just can't compete with Hardpoint. So this is why we need a 4th mode. Now, in a 4th mode, the best of, you would normally be doing a best of 5 series. That's how it would normally go. But in a series overall, how you would choose it, you can look up how they do it in the Halo Championship series. They do it their own way and how you choose it, but you would be playing 1 game mode twice. And I'm sure there's picks and bans and vetoes that can adjust for that. So don't worry, it can work because it does work in Halo. But the point is, the skill gap would be higher. That's the important thing, right? It forces teams to learn how to play the game in multiple different ways. As for the 4th mode, let's talk about what we would actually play. We can't do Demolition because Demolition and Control are too similar. If you're going to play Demolition, you actually remove Control, to be honest. Control should already be removed for Demolition. Let's just say we have got rid of Control and we implemented Demolition instead, just for that argument. The second thing is we have 3 game modes, I believe, that are possibly could work. You have 2 flag CTF, you have 1 flag CTF, and then you have Sabotage. We'll get into 2 flag CTF first. 2 flag CTF is essentially traditional CTF. You have a flag in each enemy's base, and you have to bring it from their base back to your base. That's it. The problem with this is a lot of times you do get standoffs, right? You're going to get standoffs because both teams are going to bring flags to their each respective base, and they're not actually going to be able to kill each other to return the flag, to cap it themselves, so it becomes an issue right there. Now, this shouldn't be completely out of question for playing. CTF was played back in these MW2 maps originally, back in 2009.
Where one of my favorite maps, gotta watch out for the Burger Town choke point, and you certainly have to watch out for getting spawn trapped and Dream. So a lot of action's gonna be going down on these 2 places.
We know it did work back then. The pathing was great, the routes were great, it can work today. The biggest question is the movement. Something on High Rise, that's going to be a little bit wild. I would not want to play CTF on high rise. And I actually do really love the map high rise. It's just the way the mantling, the movement changed it around that just made it not as enjoyable to play because you can get shot from literally any angle. Whereas before you could kind of adjust how you were getting shot from where you were getting shot and you could kind of control it more, but now you can't really do that. So the overall movement would be an issue for CTF and how people move and the paths they take, but there are some great paths that people can take on these maps, such as Invasion, such as Scrapyard, such as maybe Grease. Maybe Grease would be a good one if it does end up going. I hear that one's actually going in the rotation, but I don't know. Regardless, 2 flag CTF could happen. Now we're going to get into 1 flag CTF.
In 1 flag CTF, one team plays defense while the other team plays offense. The offensive team will try to capture as many flags as possible within a 5-minute time limit. Once the flag is pulled, it cannot be touch returned by the defense and will only return to its starting point if the offense has not touched it for 30 seconds. After 1 round on defense and 1 round on offense for each team, the team with the most captures wins.
A lot of you may not actually know what that is, but it's essentially in the center of the map, typically where B-Dom would be, you would have a flag right there. What you do is you are going to push up, grab the flag, and try to capture the flag in the enemy's base. The point of this actually eliminates stalemates, because if you try to take the flag back to your base and you die, and then someone captures it, they can capture it very easily, right? And so you actually have to grab the flag and keep pushing with it as a team, and it only gets harder the closer you get to the base. So this is why 1 flag CTF is a possible solution. The issue is it's just never been done before in Call of Duty. I do think 1 flag CTF would be good because it would be more fast-paced. Once you get a flag, and if you can actually get to the base itself, you can cap, and you can keep this going, and it would be something that would keep people moving. It would keep people playing aggressive. Like, you need to play aggressive for this. Actually playing aggressive is the best thing you can do to be defensive, because if you grab the flag and you push all the way into their base and they die, and you have like only 20 seconds left, they actually have to pick up that flag and run all the way from their base to your base instead of from the middle of the map to your base. So it actually helps being aggressive. The more aggressive you can be, the more defensive you actually are being in certain scenarios. So 1 flag CTF would work. Think about 1 flag CTF and this next game, what I'm about to tell you, Sabotage. Think about them as a tug of war game mode. If you are pushing, or if you're pulling on one side, they're naturally pulling on the other side. It's kind of like a tug of war back and forth type thing. So imagine that in how the overall movement of teams and how they would be going back and forth. It's kind of a momentum swingy type of game mode like that. In Sabotage, this next game mode we're going to talk about, it's basically the same thing as 1 flag CTF. The only difference is instead of picking up a flag and taking it to the enemy's base to capture, you actually pick up a bomb in the middle of the map and take it to the enemy's base to plant. Now, you do have to defend the plant for, let's say, 45 seconds, the normal bomb time, so that it can actually explode. This is still a possible solution because we know it has been implemented into Call of Duty games in the past, but it has not been seen in a long, long time. And with it being played, there were some issues about Sabotage that did make it not so enjoyable, and that was really just how long the game could potentially go on. That's why CTF, 1 flag CTF would actually be preferable for it. But Sabotage is a possible solution to that as well. If we had to get something in place, Sabotage would still work. In my opinion, the best possible game mode that we could be playing is 1 flag CTF. This solves every issue that we're currently having within our map pool and our game modes and our play styles, and it gives us some more variety. This would increase the skill gap tremendously amongst all pro CDL teams and amongst the community, because you can't just rely, like I said, on these 2 game modes to kind of get you out of stuff. When you play scrims, no one wants to play control. Why? Why would we ever play it? And then, even then, people still are so adamant on playing hardpoint. I don't know why, but they're so adamant on just playing 1 game mode to try to get good. But if you make it so there actually is a larger pool for modes, people's mindset is going to have to shift to being more diverse in what they actually play to improve at. So it would be good for the community overall, and I think this is something we should try to explore. Let's get 1 flag CTF in here. Let's get a 4th game mode in here in general, because the 4th game mode is what's going to help out this community the most in terms of quality of game modes and quality of life in terms of actually playing the game, aside from updates and bug fixes and so on. But that's the end of the video. I hope you guys did like it. It does mean a lot to me that you actually are watching this video. You are watching it through. I really appreciate all of you guys for watching this. So I do appreciate that. Y'all have a good one. Have a great rest of y'all's day. It's near Christmas here, so Merry Christmas. If it is near Christmas at you, or if you're watching this in July, then set a reminder on your phone to watch this on Christmas, and I'll tell you Merry Christmas again. So Merry Christmas, guys. Have a good one.